Hello everyone. It's James again. And before I start today's video, I just want to quickly say, all work in this video contains 100% original content of and by myself James Smith, otherwise known as Bgood 4000. And was uniquely created with NAWMAL software, by myself James Smith. As I purchased commercial rights from NAWMAL to produce my unique and original video with this software. Commentary is uniquely my own thoughts, feelings, and expressions. Now that I have that out of the way, I hope everyone's day is blessed and that everyone is doing well. You see, today, I wanted to talk about exactly what the title of this video says. Don't tell a narcissist what you are thinking, for a very important reason. You see, most people pleasers, and or those that were raised in the home with a narcissist caregiver, mother, father, it doesn't matter. If you were raised by a narcissist, you were most likely trained. And I do mean trained. You were trained to confess everything about yourself to this narcissist parent or parents. You see, the narcissist plans and plots largely on the information they gather over time. The narcissist is always scanning, looking, and listening to what you and others have to say, in order to use this information at a later time to gain some sort of advantage along with narcissistic supply. And at times, the narcissist will induce conversations to get you or others talking in order to supply this narcissist with information. It's all about information. One thing the narcissist does, and I believe this one thing alone is a great topic for an entire video. But they quite simply, they will tell you a bunch of false stories that seem very personal about themselves, in order to get you to feel the need to confess something about yourself. And if it's someone you know very well, they will tell you something that seems like it's very important information, that they are only telling you in order to get you to feel obligated to open up and share something with them of equal value. You see, your narcissist parent or parents train this into you because if they didn't, you might somehow develop a boundary or two. And they can't do what they do when you have strong boundaries in place. So they trick, induce, and will manipulate you into constantly feeling like you need to confess, just so they can always stay several steps ahead of you. And they can always have a new plot or plan to put you in a bad situation, where they can gain more control over your life, and or they can gain some sort of narcissistic supply from such an event. You see, those of us that grew up in such a way, we were trained to confess so much, that even little things, if we didn't confess them to someone, or tell this detail about this thing, or that detail about that thing, we felt like there was something wrong. And somehow confessing certain things about ourselves made us feel like we were being honest, and gave us this weird feeling of relief. Because you see, on top of all of this, we were also trained to believe that everything we do is wrong, constantly second-guessing ourselves, and telling the truth about very personal things is one thing we felt like we could do right, and that we were being honest. Because also, growing up in such a home, we were gaslit to believe we were dishonest. This is another thing narcissists' caregivers do in their training to get you to be in a constant state of confession. And that's to constantly call you a liar, to constantly call you secretive. Then you leave your toxic home of origin, and you're out in the world, not knowing how in trouble you are because you have no boundaries. You see, I've mentioned before, when you come from a pretty good family, because no family is perfect, but let's say a family where your parents actually care about you, and they raised you and your siblings to care about each other. Well, part of that raising is it's okay to talk amongst your brother or sisters about certain things. But don't tell strangers about certain things, because these parents know that there are a lot of people out there that will use this personal information against you. So these types of parents instill boundaries. Healthy boundaries from day one. And they serve this person well. As they grow older and enter the world we are all living in. Narcissists do the opposite. They train and condition you to be a blabbermouth. And what that does is it makes those that have strong boundaries and that grew up in decent homes cringe and feel like something is wrong with you. And if they were attracted to you at first, they no longer are. Or if they wanted to hang out and to be your friend, they may be off-put and no longer want to spend time with you. But you will never know that. Because they just kind of silently walked away. But guess who sticks around? That's right. The narcissist. And they see what kind of a person you are. You have no boundaries. You tell them everything about you. Down to how much money you have or how much you don't have. And so they can get some of the other important stuff. They will do like I just mentioned. They will lie or tell some half-truths about themselves in order to get you to confess some more important things about yourself. Important things they will store in their data banks. And they will use to trap you. Trap you in such a way it will be tough for you to get away from them. Things they will use against you in arguments. Things they will use against you when they smear your name to others. And here's the big one. Even though they are all big. But once you find out about narcissism, and because you are so trained up to confess everything, you confess to the narcissist you are with that you know they are a narcissist. And how you plan on leaving them. Which gives the narcissist enough time to go around and smear your name. And make you look like the narcissist to everyone out there. And trust me, they will do it. And they will do it successfully in many. Not all. But many instances. Because remember, this is their wheelhouse. They've been doing this for years. If not decades. And this narcissist will figure out a way to make it 20 times harder for you to leave them. If you are watching videos like mine and others out there, and you think you are with a narcissist, please realize this one thing. There was something about you that attracted this narcissist to you. Yes. You are nice, kind and decent. But they noticed that you might be easy to confess everything about yourself to them and to others. Now that might not be the case. Because narcissists can end up doing what they do to perfectly healthy people. But if you can say to yourself that your parent or parents are similar to this narcissist you are with, and some of your friends growing up were the same way as well, guess what? There are things that you must come to terms with and change. If you are wanting to get out to be free of these types of people from your life. Because the worst thing to do is learn about narcissism and focus all on them. Because those are the types when they get into arguments with this narcissist will tip their entire hand so to speak to this narcissist and will tell them everything. If you are in this situation, sit down and have an honest internal conversation with yourself. And ask yourself, do you overshare? And if this answer is yes, work on it. And who else better to work on it with than the narcissist you are trying to untangle yourself from? Here's the thing. If you can just up and leave the narcissist today, do it. Don't delay. Get out and be free. But many times, it's not that easy. There are houses in each other's name, bills, and marriage licenses, and other entanglements. So you might need to spend a little bit of time getting free from such things. And always talk to a professional about any of these things if need be. But know this. While you are still there, don't tip your hand. You might tell them things that they think are important to make them feel like they are getting something out of you. But in reality there is nothing important to it. Don't come out and say you were learning about narcissism. They are one. So forth and so on. If you get a raise at work, don't come home to your narcissist and tell them about it. If you just spoke to a lawyer on how to get out of the legal entanglements with them, Don't come home and tell them all about your day at the lawyer's office. Or that you went out apartment shopping. Or you're saving money for an apartment. Keep it to yourself. In the same way, maybe you might have one close friend you might tell this to. Don't show up to work and tell all of your coworkers about this kind of stuff. Because though some may seem concerned, many will just turn it into gossip. And they will smile in your face. But behind your back will say you just come to work and talk about your problems. Again, if you have a close friend that you've vetted over time, and you know they care about you, talk to them about it. But don't blab to everyone else that will listen. Because here's what I've seen. Where someone will develop boundaries with the narcissist. But because they haven't properly dealt with their need to confess, they confess to other people they have no business confessing to. Just so they can have an outlet. Even though they talked about these things with their closest friend. They told everyone at work. At the barber shop. And at the gas station. Look. We all want to be heard. And that's why healthy families are so important. Because generally speaking you can speak to your parents. If they are decent people. Or your siblings if they are decent people. But when you don't have that, what do you do? And on top of that, you were trained to be a people pleaser. And to confess everything about yourself. So what do? You learn to create a happy medium for yourself. But if you're in a room where everyone is sharing the most craziest information, please don't feel obligated to jump in and share something crazy. Because I've seen this before. Where someone starts a crazy conversation. Talking about all kinds of things they did. And someone else will join in. And then a third person will join in. And somewhere along the line, the third one is the one that is talked about behind their back. When they think these other two people are their friends and they have some sort of special bond together. And on top of it all, the entire conversation was started by someone else sharing all kinds of crazy stories about their lives. And again, who knows how true these stories are? So if you are in a situation like that, you can smile, laugh, and whatever. But you are in no way obligated to share such information with these people. And in such situations, I've seen certain people in such situations say, when asked if they have something to say, that they don't have an exciting life like them. So no. They have nothing to add. Or they might say, you two have such interesting lives? I'm afraid my life is rather boring. But I enjoy listening to you too. And what will happen is eventually the one in the group that is trying to get you to talk about your life, they will turn their sights onto someone else. Because you aren't acting like a jerk to them. You are being fun and nice. But you just have nothing to add to their toxic conversation. Don't tell the narcissist what you are thinking. Don't even tell this person that is telling these wacky stories that is trying to get others to do the same. Don't tell them what you think about what they are doing. Just sit back and smile and let them do what they do. You can make the choice later on to not be there anymore if you wish. Because here's the thing. If you let's say are at a work gathering, and you tell this narcissist about themselves, guess what happens when you return to work? They will plot and work night and day to ruin you at work. So don't be that person. Take a step back and away from the radar of the narcissist. Listen, learn, and enjoy healthy conversations. Which is another topic for another video. But learn and know. You can have friendships and relationships with certain people. Without revealing every dark secret you have. You can have healthy, normal conversations with people. And have a good time. And back to the narcissist in your life. Just play the game. Until you can get out safe and sound. Which I will touch on more in other videos. But I wanted you to hear this information first. If you are with a narcissist, even though narcissists can go after healthy people, There's a good chance. Not a for sure chance. But a good chance there are things about your nature that aren't healthy. Though you are a kind, decent person. If you feel like people walk on you, you probably have no boundaries. And no boundaries doesn't just mean not being able to say no. It also means oversharing. And if you are an oversharer, there's a good chance that once you realize the narcissist in your life for what and who they are, that you will share that information with them. Which won't change the narcissist. It will just help them plot against you even more so. So the takeaway is, if you are learning about narcissism, yes, it's important to know and see the red flags, and all of that. But you must work on yourself. You must go inward. And the main thing that many, not all, but many targets to narcissist have in common, is they have the need to confess and they have the need to overshare. And they have very limited boundaries. If they have boundaries at all. So if this is you, stop for a moment. Have an internal conversation with yourself. And if you are with a narcissist, your boundaries need to start right this moment. No matter if it is you planning on leaving the narcissist, and all the things around that. This is information you are not going to want to share with this narcissist. And if you can start to develop boundaries in this instance, you might be on the correct road to developing boundaries in other areas of your life. But that's one thing that I've realized. Healthy people respect boundaries. They understand them. And they respect them. And when you develop these boundaries, it's not a for sure thing. But you stand a better than a decent chance to meet a good friend or two. Or someone decent to spend your life with. Well, that's all I have for now. I would like to know what you think. Please leave your comments in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to be a part of this channel's growth. And don't forget to like and share to let YouTube know this content is very important to you. And if you would like to support by the way of Patreon, you will find a link in the low bar. And for those that are already supporting by the way of Patreon, I want to humbly thank you from the bottom of my cartoon heart. With that said, I do hope your day is blessed. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.